political interference. As the international trade takes place, there comes the political interference, because every country is interested only in the profit. They are interested in the encouragement, they are interested in the development of the domestic industries of their country. As a result, they start their interference into the international trade by what are the different reasons? They start imposing tariffs. They start increasing tariffs on the import and export of the goods and services. As a result, they try to make the imports expensive in comparison to the domestic products. Next thing which comes over here is the political conflicts. This international trade is also responsible for the political conflicts or the political fights between the countries of the world. After looking into the advantages and disadvantages of international trade, let's look into the different bases for the international trade, or what are the grounds which provide a need for the international trade. And to understand the need and the basis of international trade, we have to go through the three different theories given by the famous economists. We have the classical theory of international trade, which was given by Adam Smith, and it is also known as the absolute cost difference theory. Over here, we have to start with the absolute. At first, we should know that what is the absolute advantage. Absolute advantage is basically the ability to produce something with the fewer resources than others can produce. Well, this thing generally occurs when each of the two countries, they can produce one or the other commodity at absolutely lower cost of production than the others. And this lower cost of production may come because of soil, better quality of soil, better climatic conditions, or the better quality of human resources. Human resources, over here we can say that better skills of the people of the country, or the better education of the people of the country, or the better technical know-how of the people of the country. Let's try to understand it with the help of a table. This is a table with the help of the two countries and the two products. We have the two countries like India and Bangladesh, and both the countries are capable of producing rice and wheat. With the same unit, with the 1 unit of a labor, India is in a position to produce 4 units of rice and 8 units of wheat. On the other side, Bangladesh, with the 1 unit of a labor, is able to produce 8 units of rice and 4 units of wheat. Now, it is clear from the table itself that India is having a comparative advantage in the production of wheat in comparison to rice, whereas Bangladesh is having an absolute cost advantage in the production of rice in comparison to wheat. So, India will export wheat to Bangladesh, and in return of wheat, India will purchase or import rice from Bangladesh. On the other side, Bangladesh is having an absolute advantage in the production of rice. So Bangladesh will definitely export rice to India, and return of rice, it will purchase or it will import wheat from India. In this way, the international trade will take place between both the countries. Now, there can be a condition that country is having an advantage in producing both the commodities, but in one of the commodity, it is having a better advantage than the previous one. To understand that situation, we need the new theory given by Ricardo. Let's try to understand the theory. According to Ricardo, a comparative cost, it means it is the difference that a country can produce both the goods at absolutely lower cost than the other country, but her cost is comparatively lower in the production of one good as compared to the other good. Means the country is in a position to produce both the commodities, but one commodity can be produced in a better way than the earlier one. This theory is based on the certain assumptions or the necessary conditions. First, a condition is labor is the only factor, and the cost of production is measured in terms of labor units. And second, all the units of a labor are similar or homogeneous. Third, labor is perfectly mobile within the country and perfectly immobile outside the country. The next thing, there is a full employment in the countries. Production of goods takes place in the constant conditions. No transport cost is involved in the foreign trade. Trade is free from all government controls like tariffs. Perfect competition in the goods and factor markets as well. The trade must take place between the two countries. Two commodities are produced by 1 unit of labor. That's why we also call this theory as a 2 into 2 into 1. This is because this theory only talks about the two countries, two commodities, and which is produced by the 1 unit of labor. That is 2 into 2 into 1. We can explain this theory with the help of a given table, which is given to you. This is which includes the two countries, two commodities which are produced with the 1 unit of labor. In the schedule, you can look into this carefully, and we can understand that the two countries are given, that is India and Bangladesh. According to this schedule, India is a country which can produce 20 units of rice with 1 unit of labor and 8 units of wheat with the 1 unit of labor, whereas Bangladesh is a country which can produce 8 units of rice by the use of 1 unit of labor and 4 units of wheat with the 1 unit of labor. So we can easily make out from the table that India can produce both the goods at the cheaper cost than the Bangladesh. But India's efficiency in the production of rice is to the half times more than that of the Bangladesh, while in the production of wheat it is twice as much. Thus, the relative productivity ratios for rice and wheat in India are: first, let us consider for the rice in the case of India. The relative productivity ratio for rice in case of India can be calculated as: in India, the 20 units of rice which are produced with the 1 unit of a labor. In Bangladesh, the 8 units of rice are produced with the 1 unit of a labor. So we can calculate the relative productivity ratio for this as 20 units of rice produced by India divided by the 8 units of rice produced by Bangladesh, and the ratio will be 2.5. On the other side, in the same way, we can calculate the relative productivity ratio for wheat in case of India. That is, in case of India, India is producing 8 units of wheat with 1 unit of a labor. On the other side, Bangladesh is able to produce 4 units of wheat with 1 unit of labor. So relative productivity ratio can be calculated as 8 divided by 4. That comes to 2. So it is clear that it will be the advantage of India to specialize in the production of rice, because in the case of rice, it enjoys the greater advantage than the other country, that is Bangladesh. On the other side, in the same way, we can calculate the relative productivity ratios for rice and wheat for Bangladesh. 8 units of rice produced by Bangladesh can be divided by the 20 units of rice produced by India. That is 8 divided by 20, and it will come to 0.4. For relative productivity ratio for wheat in case of Bangladesh can be calculated as 4 units of wheat produced by Bangladesh divided by 8 units of wheat produced by India. That is 4 divided by 8, and the answer you will get is 0.5. From this, we can easily make out that the relative productivity ratio for wheat is higher than the relative productivity ratio for rice in the case of Bangladesh. So with this, we can easily come to a conclusion that India is having a comparative advantage in the production of rice, whereas Bangladesh is having a comparative advantage in the production of wheat. So what can be the situation now over here? That India would export rice and import wheat. On the other side, Bangladesh would export wheat and import rice. But this theory is not free from the criticism. This is the best theory, although we call this theory as the queen of theories for the international trade. But this theory also has some criticism or the weaknesses or the loopholes by many of the economists on the certain basis. Let us look into those bases. First is the unrealistic assumption of labor theory of value. Many of the economists, according to them, they said that no, according to Ricardo, it was assumed that there can be only one factor of production, whereas these economists are of the opinion that no, there are the 4 factors of production, and without the 4 factors of production, the production cannot take place. And when the production cannot take place, how the export will take place or the trade can take place. So it is completely unrealistic with the 1 unit of a labor or a 1 factor of production, that is labor. Second thing, which Ricardo said labor should be homogeneous. According to him, that all the units of a labor must be homogeneous or similar in nature, whereas in realistic or in practical life, the 2 units of labor cannot be similar or homogeneous. Third thing, he said that all the factors of production should be mobile within the country and immobile outside the country. This is also unrealistic because the factors of production are always mobile. According to Ricardo, the theory of comparative cost is based on the law of constant cost. But as we are clear, we know this thing, that as we increase the level of output, the cost per unit decreases with every increase in the level of output. So it cannot be. Ricardo told that the transport costs, there should be no transport cost. But in reality, transport cost plays a very important role in the international trade, whether international trade or the internal trade. Because sometimes what happens, the transportation cost is so much, can be more than the cost of production also. Next is the static condition. According to Ricardo, he said the static condition should be there. There should not be any change. But again, it is totally unrealistic because the international world is a dynamic. It's dynamic. It keeps on changing daily from hour to hour. Next is the one-sided theory. This theory only talks about the one-sided. This theory only talks about the demand. It does not lay a proper emphasis on the supply side. And any theory cannot be complete without putting proper emphasis on both the sides, both the forces of the market, that is demand and supply. According to Ricardo, this theory talks only about the gains, but this theory never tells us that how much gain and who will be the loser. If the loss will be there, what will be the percentage of the loss? The last but not the least, he has given the assumption that the trade can take place only between the two countries, two communities with one unit of labor. That is again the unrealistic. After doing the theory of comparative cost given by Ricardo, we can look into another version of the theory. There is another version which is known as the comparative cost theory with the help of opportunity cost or production possibility curve. This version of the international trade theory was presented by Haberler and along with the concept of opportunity cost. In this, the concept of opportunity cost and the theory of international trade is illustrated with the help of production possibility curve. And while explaining the theory of comparative cost in terms of opportunity cost approach, we must assume that there is a constant opportunity cost. Constant opportunity cost. Now I would like to recall that thing which you people must have done in relation to the opportunity cost. That opportunity cost, whenever the opportunity cost will be constant, means if you are sacrificing to produce whatever the amount you want to produce for one commodity, you have to give up the same amount of another commodity. For this, we can take one schedule which is similar to the schedule which we have taken for the theory of Ricardo. In this also you will find the two countries producing the two different commodities. Like India is producing 20 kgs of rice and 8 kgs of wheat with the units of labor. Same is with the Bangladesh. Bangladesh is in a position to produce 8 kgs of rice and 4 kgs of wheat. From these possibilities, we can make out that India is more efficient than the Bangladesh in the production of both. India is capable to produce both rice as well as wheat. Next thing, on the basis of these production possibilities, we can easily draw the production possibility curve for India and Bangladesh. Look into the pictures which are there in front of your screen. The two figures are there. The picture one shows the initial production possibility curve for India, and second shows the initial as well as the new production possibility curve for Bangladesh. Look into the picture. For the first one we have taken, in the case of India, on the x-axis we have represented the units of rice produced by India. On the y-axis we have taken the units of wheat produced by India. Units of rice produced by India is 20 and units of wheat produced by India is 8. So the initial production possibility curve, which can be named as AB, which is named as AB. In this case, this is the original production possibility curve. India would like to produce more. In that case, India will specialize all its resources only on increasing the production of rice. Then the production possibility curve will shift from point AB to AB1. That is the new production possibility curve. On the other side, the new production possibility curve for Bangladesh will be CD1. These are the new production possibility curve. We can come to a conclusion that the comparative cost theory is able to explain that a country can benefit from international trade by specializing and exporting those commodities in which it enjoys comparative advantage than the others. Thank you.